I am a passionate and ardent advocate for volunteering, because for me, volunteering is not all about giving back to people. I see it from a very different standpoint. Yes, you will give back to your community, you will give back to people. It's a very gracious thing to do, it's a selfless thing to do. But the one thing you need to also understand is that when you volunteer, you are building skills in a particular area of expertise that for most young people who are just leaving school, who are just graduating from the university, this can be very transformational in your life. And I have been a beneficiary of the advantages of volunteering, because I started volunteering at a very young age in my life, at around 16 years. And today I'm sitting in a hotel room in Ghana attending an international conference where I am speaking to people from all over the world, sharing my opinion. And it hits me that this has happened no matter how I want to look at it, because at some point in my life I took the initiative, I took the step to volunteer and give back. So what is volunteering? I'm not going to go through a dictionary definition. I will just give it at the top of my head. It's just freely giving your resources, either your time, your skills, your services, to the benefit of a greater cause, something bigger than you. So that's basically, from my point of view, what volunteering is all about. But the question is, why should people volunteer? Most people will tell you, if you ask them, at the first thing that will come to their mind is that they are volunteering to give back to people, to support people. But what people don't understand is that volunteering is also a means for you to take back. Taking back in the sense that, yes, there is that gratification that comes with being able to support a cause and support something that you're passionate about, creating change in the lives of people, transforming communities. I understand that. But there's also the fact that while doing that, for most people, you are building skills. Now, when you go through social media, one of the things that you would hear is that, oh, do not give your skills for free, do not give your services for free. Yes, to an extent, if you have those skills and you don't want to give them for free, that's okay. But what about the young people that do not have the skills and do not have the money or the opportunity to pay to build those skills? Volunteering is an easy way for you to build them. And I advocate, do not graduate from school and sit back home applying for jobs and waiting to be called. Because when you are volunteering, you're not wasting your time. You're building skills as much as you're giving back. And as you're building those skills, you're creating networks that will be beneficial for you as you go on your career journey. And as you are building those networks, whenever opportunities will arise, there is a big tendency that those opportunities will land in front of your doorstep because you were at the right place at the right time. It's very rare for those things to happen, and what it meets you in your house where you're sitting and watching TV. One thing that I would say is that when you are volunteering, you need to do it the right way. Most people don't do it for the right way or even for the right reason. Before you decide that you're going to volunteer, you need to first of all think about a couple of things. The first thing is, why are you volunteering? What do you want to achieve? You need to first of all set your goals. They need to be clear. Then be very intentional about them. For me, while growing up, it was to build my skills, to not be at home and be idle. It was to gain experience in the field that I wanted to do at the time, which was journalism. But now, if I'm going to tell someone, I would say that when you go out to volunteer, don't just chase everything. Choose a particular area of interest and talk to the person who is maybe the supervisor or the person that is leading that institution that you're volunteering with. Make them to understand what is it that you want to learn and the department that you want to be in. Don't be everywhere. This way you build particular skills that are tailored for the specific expertise that you want to achieve. While you are there, make sure that you learn everything that you need to learn about that particular sector that or skill that you want to gain. Make sure that you know the ins and outs so that at some point you become an expert. Go in with everything, give it your all. Do it like it is the last thing that you have to do in this life. That way you are going to make sure, you're going to ensure that you build amazing skills within a very short time. Do not look at it like, oh, I'm volunteering to give back to the community, because it gives you some kind of gut feeling. It gives you some kind of superior mentality. It's not bad, because at the end of the day, when you're volunteering for a particular cause, especially if the industry you are volunteering with is something like a non-profit organization that is helping to benefit or transform the lives of people, then it is normal to have that feeling. But as a volunteer, I would recommend humility. Look at it as instead taking back from the people that you're supposed to be working with. Now that sounds very contradictory, controversial, but look at it this way. Don't look at it like I am coming to transform the lives of these communities. Look at it as I am going to learn from this community, because by so doing, you're going to understand and learn what it takes to have the skills that you need. Another thing is that you need to set a time frame. How long do you want to be in that industry? How long do you want to learn that particular skill or be in that particular organization? Focus on one thing at a time. One of the biggest mistakes that I see young people do now is that they want to be everywhere at the same time. They are spreading so much of themselves and working with so many organizations with so many diversity and so many unrelated thematic areas that I wonder, do you want to be a jack of all trades and a master of none? You need to focus. If you want to volunteer with, say, 1 or 2 organizations, they need to be related in some way. That way it makes your skills to be concentrated in a particular area, and that's the one way that you become an authority over something. You cannot be everywhere. You cannot be available to every organization. You cannot be jumping from one place to another. You need to be strategic. You need to be concentrated in a particular area, industry, thematic area, and gain particular skills that are peculiar to the thing that you want to achieve or that you're interested in. Be consistent. Be consistent in what you're doing. No, be consistent in the course that you want to take. Be consistent in the industry that you want to work with. It's the same thing, like I said, do not be all over the place. While you're volunteering, remove the mindset that I'm just a volunteer. I don't need to take on challenges or tasks, or take on challenging tasks in the organization. Make sure that you put yourself out there. Ask for help and support when you have difficult tasks, but do not be afraid or intimidated to take on the challenging part of it, because that's the one way that you learn. Do not be afraid of failing or falling, because when you fail, you will rise again. When you fall, you will rise again. That's the way you learn. That's the way you put yourself out there. And while you are at it, build soft skills in communication, interpersonal skills. Make sure that you create a network where whenever you are not around, even if you're not in the room, your name can be mentioned in places that your feet will not take you. And that's the one way that you volunteer, right? And build a set of skills that will land you international jobs and international opportunities, and give you a network that is way beyond what you would have ever imagined. So guys, that's it for today's video. I wanted to share with you how to volunteer, right? The importance of volunteering.